Late night tension and anger consumed the Texas Senate in the midst of a filibuster of a controversial bill. And those same emotions have now pushed state lawmakers into a second special session. Just moments ago, we learned from Governor Rick Perry's office they will be back on July 1st, Monday, to tackle some unfinished business. And KXAN's political reporter Josh Hinkle is here with us, and we were really expecting this.
Yeah, and it really became apparent last night when the Senate finally adjourned and the Lieutenant Governor said, "We'll see you back here soon." One of the most exciting nights I've ever seen at the Capitol, all hinging on a filibuster of a controversial abortion bill. After confusion over that bill and whether a vote happened before the midnight deadline, the abortion issue is still up in the air. Two other items never got a vote either. There are things the governor's added to the second special session too: transportation funding and punishment for 17-year-olds convicted of murder. Now, most seem to think that those last two should pass pretty easily, but again, the abortion issue is where last night's commotion drew thousands of angry Texans to the Capitol. So everything's up in the air right now.
Much more to come. Josh, thank you as always. And as he's mentioned, late last night, Republican lawmakers in the Texas Senate tried to pass some of the nation's toughest restrictions on abortions. The measure would have banned abortions after 20 weeks of pregnancy. It would only allow abortions to be performed in surgical centers and require doctors who perform abortions to have admitting privileges at nearby hospitals. Abortion rights advocates say that would shut down most of the abortion clinics in the state of Texas. Democratic State Senator Wendy Davis tried to stop the vote by holding a 13-hour filibuster before the midnight deadline to pass the bill. But Republicans stopped her just before midnight. They prepared to vote on it, but then a crowd of people in the chamber stepped in. That crowd so loud, lawmakers on the floor had trouble hearing. They did take a vote, pass the bill, but with all the noise and the delays, it came after midnight, killing the measure. Republicans called it mob rule. Opponents of the restriction called it the people's filibuster. Senator Davis spoke to her supporters afterwards.
My back hurts, and I don't have a whole lot of words left in my vocabulary after all that talking, but I am overwhelmed, honestly, by the thousands of people who participated in what happened today.
As the night wrapped up,
as we mentioned, this not over yet. Josh is live with a key Republican lawmaker in this debate. Josh?
Well, we have Senator Dan Patrick, a Houston Republican, now joining us in the studio. Thank you very much for being here. You've had a long night, I'm sure.
I have not been to bed actually yet, because we were at the Capitol till after 3 a.m. and had some work to do. And it's a busy time of the year, and we've been on the floor a lot recently. So,
were you surprised that the governor called a special session?
No, I think the way it went down last night, he had to react. You cannot let a mob of people destroy the democratic process. I was never in fear for my safety last night, but I'm in fear for our Constitution. I'm in fear for what our country stands for. We're not a third world country where no matter what group it is, on what issue it is, whether it's Republican, Democrat, liberal, or conservative, you cannot allow, I mean, it's the people's house, and we always want the people to come, but you cannot take over. And they took over last night. I called the motion to vote on the bill, and they disrupted for 10 minutes. And what really bothered me, Josh, was that there were Democrat House members that came over to the Senate and were inciting the crowd by, you know, more noise, more noise. That is unacceptable to me. And one of the first things I'm going to do on Monday is look at the rules to address that. We would never, as senators, go to the House and get the gallery stirred up so they couldn't do their business. It was totally out of control. There was no control in the Senate. And our party takes responsibility. Our leadership needs to take responsibility for that. There should never have been a filibuster. We're in control. We're the majority. We had 30 days to pass 4 bills, and we only passed 3. So that's on our leadership. But at the end of the night, we passed the bill 19-10. One Democrat joined us. We passed the bill, and then because of the uproar, we were not able to do the procedural things we needed to do so the Lieutenant Governor could sign it, and that's why the bill died.
How did this all get out of control, really?
It got out of control in part, I think, because we didn't take control of the Senate.
Whose job is that, though?
That is the Lieutenant Governor's job, and I'm not trying to point a finger and be critical, but it is his job to get control of the floor and the gallery. And he was trying to bend over backwards, but I was very concerned because I saw these outbursts throughout the day, and I thought when this finally concludes, and of course our goal was to pass our bill, which they didn't want, I didn't think it was going to end very You know, it wasn't going to end on a quiet note. So I was concerned. I expected an outburst, but I did not expect them to have a strategy. And we saw the text. We were getting texts on our phones that were going around the gallery. Some people would say, do you know what's going on? And they were texting. If Senator Patrick or anyone else, you know, goes to vote on this bill before midnight, make continuous noise to disrupt the process. And that's not what anyone, I don't care how you feel about a bill. If there were conservative Republicans who came and did that, I would have been going like this, stop. I wouldn't have been going like this. Now, I didn't see any Democrat senators do that, but the House members, as far as I'm concerned, if a House member does that, they should be banned from coming over to the Senate for a year, whatever the penalty is. You cannot do that. And the people who come, you know, it's hard, Josh, because we had a lot of state troopers, but it's a manpower thing. To get one person out of a seat sometimes takes 2 officers. I mean, we had people arrested in the chamber last night. That's not what this is about.
Well, we'll see what happens in special session number 2, right?
Yeah, we should, look, we have the votes to pass the bills. And that's where I blame our leadership. We just have to get them on the schedule, get it done, move it out, take control, and move forward.
All right, well, thank you very
bills.
much.
These are good bills. Thanks, Joe.
Leslie, back to you.